Have you ever wondered about when TV came to China? In February 1972, US President Richard Nixon stepped off a plane in Beijing. One handshake across an ocean between two countries that barely spoke to each other. Later, Nixon wrote in his memoirs, "An era ended, another one began." He was talking about diplomacy, but something else quietly followed behind that handshake. American pop culture. Part 1. The height of luxury. There's something we tend to forget today. TVs were originally a luxury item. In the 1980s in China, owning a TV meant you were rich. Neighbors came over to watch together. People planned their evenings around one screen. There were simply not enough TVs in the entire country. TV shows became a community event. Part 2. America was a slogan, not a place. Before the late 70s, most Chinese people didn't really know America. They knew the idea of America, mostly as a political slogan. But what Americans ate, wore, watched on TV? That was a mystery. America was like a blurry silhouette on the other side of the ocean. And then, China turned on its televisions. Part 3. The first American TV shows to arrive. In the early 80s, China had very few TV shows of its own, so state television started importing foreign ones. Hong Kong dramas were particularly popular, but American shows? They were different. One of the very first was a sci-fi series called Man from Atlantis. Today, it looks incredibly cheesy, but back then, it was mind-blowing. The main character wore sunglasses indoors, which instantly made them the coolest thing imaginable. If you owned those sunglasses, congratulations, you were officially the coolest person in your neighborhood. Part 4. Why this show was safe. Here's the funny part. Chinese television approved of this American sci-fi show because it was considered clean. There was no kissing, no controversial topics, almost no fighting. Just a man from the ocean solving problems. And people loved it. Part 5. Then came the dangerous one. Soon after, another American show arrived. A war action series called Garrison's Guerrillas. And this one caused problems. The heroes were criminals. They broke rules. They fought constantly. Chinese teenagers went wild. They copied the hairstyles, the attitude, the knife tricks. Suddenly, young people wanted to be rebels. Local officials panicked. The show was pulled halfway through the season. Viewers were confused. They wrote letters, thousands of them. And decades later, Chinese TV officially explained. It was judged to be pure entertainment, full of fighting with little artistic value. Translation? It was too American and you were getting ideas we did not want you to have. Part 6. A police show that taught law. Then came a crime drama from Los Angeles. Hunter. It showed cops drinking coffee, driving cars, walking sunny streets. And every arrest ended the same way. You have the right to remain silent. For many Chinese viewers, this was the first time they ever really heard about having legal rights. No one planned it as education, but it worked. Part 7. The Mouse arrives. In 1985, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck aired on Chinese television. Only 15 minutes a day, but it was historic. Before that, Disney didn't exist in China. But now the mouse was here, and despite recent tensions, he never really left again. Disney, to this day, is hugely popular in China. And there are even 2 Disneylands, one in Hong Kong and one in Shanghai. Part 8. American movies and new dreams. American movies followed TV. Action films, dance movies. One film in particular changed youth culture overnight. Breaking. Suddenly, Chinese teenagers were breakdancing in the streets. Headbands, sneakers, music blasting. Breakdancing was everywhere. Part 9. Music slips in through the back door. Western pop music came next, but not officially. Most people heard it through damaged cassette tapes. Albums meant to be destroyed, cut slightly so they couldn't be sold. They still played, and people copied them endlessly. Through those tapes, China discovered Elvis, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and eventually Michael Jackson. Moonwalks followed, of course. Part 10. China answers back. Inspired by Western music, Chinese musicians began experimenting. One singer stepped on stage in 1986 and sang a rock song, asking, "I have nothing. What do you want from me?" Some officials walked out. Young audiences didn't. A new era of Chinese pop music had begun. This wasn't a cultural invasion. It was cultural curiosity. For centuries, Westerners had been fascinated by ancient China. Now, China was discovering modern America. Sometimes awkwardly, sometimes hilariously, sometimes through bad TV shows and broken tapes. Today, the curiosity goes both ways again. Now, China isn't just watching. With the rise of social media and the internet, it's speaking back.